Hello and welcome to my channel where I draw random things or things I like or don't like and talk about things which come to my mind as I am creating these videos and writing things down. This is my fourth video, and for this one I wanted to switch to drawing at home, which is what I like to do the most. Primarily, I usually just take a picture and study it with my pen. That's what I call it. Yes, it is drawing, but I am kind of mapping it all out with marks, and sometimes I don't get the tones right, the shapes right. I am messy and indecisive and too fast with my drawing, disorganized, and the list goes on and on. The inner critic never stops, so somewhere along the lines I have to start. Start drawing, then start writing. As a creative person, and that exact word, creative, explains it all. I have a power which we all possess to create. This is something all of us have, but not all of us pursue to strengthen in a classical sense of describing the word creative. Doing dishes with your opposite hand is creative because you're doing something new whilst doing an action you partake in every day. Doing dishes is already creative, in fact, since the same way, in order to improve drawing or any activity, we must continue it every day. So, as we are improving doing something as mundane as doing dishes, since we do it every day, can't drawing become mundane if we improve every day whilst repeating it? And isn't that just another activity? Same with jogging or tidying the rooms. I'm talking about this in order to normalize the creative process for myself and for those people who watch my videos, to whom I am infinitely grateful also. People who comment, I really appreciate all of your engagement and support. If you are new here, feel free to join by subscribing, liking, and sharing my content. This really helps me grow my channel, confidence, and that stack of papers on which I am drawing these objects. There are so many things I want to mention during these videos, and I can't seem to pick one. Sometimes it looks like it's better to delve in one topic, but what if mentioning 5 topics is better than having one deep chat, full meal rather than tasting 5 samples? Okay, I'll open up a bit about my mental health. Over 2 years ago, I decided to get sober and clean up my mental health and life. It's been the toughest road I've ever been on. Quite lonely, I must say, thinking of all the friendship I've had to sacrifice in order to stay clean. I started going to therapy, also group therapy, and got diagnosed with schizotypal personality disorder. My pen stops writing there at this point, since I am not a doctor and I don't want to delve into the explanation of this diagnosis. Most of the time, I just need someone to talk to feel better. And I realized YouTube could be a good space to talk to, because sometimes it really feels like you don't want to burden anyone with your problems, and listening is a skill that of which not everybody is capable of. Getting sober really helps with my creativity, even though it does not feel like it at first. It feels counterproductive, to be fair. But not having a hangover in the morning and being able to write my morning journal and feel just well and not guilty for what I've done last night is a blessing. I am not sure if I am making this up, but my diagnosis seems to make me lost in my own thoughts at some points. So, discipline and strict regime is the best cure for it, which is coincidentally the skill that I do not really possess as much as I would like to. Another topic is loving yourself and things that I do treating yourself with respect, saying no to people and things which you do not want to do. So called magical thinking is another quote unquote skill which my diagnosis seems to carry. That everything that happens is happening for a reason or something like that. I must tell you, it is quite disheartening when you hear a therapist describe your formulas and equations to things happening in your life which explain certain things to you as just a trait to your personality type. Disheartening and relieving at the same time. When it is easy to get lost in your own mind and stumble upon dark places where you don't want to be, then being realistic in this world, feet firm on the ground, is what helps to come out of these dark labyrinths and mazes. Perhaps we have to, though, explore these mazes, find the beings in there, and then deal with them. I noticed another thing which is very hard to focus on something, but once I do, I can be hyper focused on it for hours. If it is something that I like to do, especially if it is repetitive. About being lost in a dark cave, I am pretty sure C.G. Jung called this shadow work, or perhaps this goes back to Joseph Campbell and the dark night of the soul. What goes up must go down, and as Jung put it, as something along the lines of, if the branches of the tree reaches the heavens, then the roots of that tree must reach the depths of hell. A little bit about the drawing. I picked this reference from a book by Elizabeth Bacadeno, if I pronounced that correctly, about Aztec, Inca, and Maya, their life, beliefs, culture, and thriving civilizations. I am pretty sure it is a children's book, but since I really liked the pictures and artifacts in this book, I bought it. The references were really good quality, and I like having a paper version in front of me rather than having to look at the screen. This particular reference is a drawing of a golden statue of a lama, though it looks more like a dog because I made the neck much shorter than it is in the original picture. I also made the drawing too dark, since I should have started more gently in the first layers. I think I like to draw ancient artifacts because of their imprint in time. Marks on these objects were made thousands of years ago, and no one can make them as authentic nowadays. You can't fabricate past. That is a very difficult thing to do. I used to know a collector who taught me that people make things look older in order to sell them more expensive at the auction. Going back in the past is also a search for moral values, the essence. I recently watched a video on Stoicism and Marcus Aurelius was mentioned. An interesting fact got stuck in my mind that even though he had such great power to use and abuse the people around him, he did not do so. Maybe it's the YouTube's algorithm, but I found a video on minimalism which resonated just as well with me and thought connected well with Stoicism. If we have good values, we do not need materialistic possessions, and if we have too many material possessions, these hold too much space emotionally and physically, and there is no space left for good values. Now, one could argue that good values is a very vague expression. However, I feel each person has a moral compass which leads their life a certain path. If the path being treaded is not a path which one likes to see and experience, then perhaps one should reassess with the moral compass. In fact, here comes my realization whilst writing words for this video as a freight train comes to pass a station where people are waiting for their train home. Pardon me for the diversion, I had to be a bit poetic there. I only started to improve my life once I started to look at my moral compass more often and reassess my values. It has been tough, but worth it. I began to be more grateful, realized that I have all that I need to live and survive. I have family, friends, a good working body, and that's all I need. Everything else is a gift and a bonus. So I'll let this thought freight train pass and finish this video with the wish for people who watch till the end to comment what they are grateful for, or just like the video if you found something valuable. Also, if you have any suggestions, please feel free to share. Your feedback is super important to me, and I love to engage with my audience. You help me improve, and even though I have just started this YouTube channel journey, I learned a lot already and keep learning with every video. All the best. Vysoko geriausio. Till next time. Thank you. P.S. Since there is still time, here's a part of the drawing where making little marks really brings out the details, and the work which you have done up until now can really start coming through. Every mark is important. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope you are doing well on your creative journey. Ciao.